¿Qué tal, chicos? Bienvenidos, soy Juani. Now, how to instantly improve your Spanish in 4 easy steps, especially if you're someone like me that doesn't live in a Spanish-speaking country. Step number 1, or el número uno, using filler words. So words that indicate to someone that yes, I can speak Spanish, but I just need a bit of time to think about what I'm going to respond with. So guys, this is really crucial because, to give you an example, living here in Australia, whenever I meet a native speaker, if I don't respond with something in Spanish within about 3 or 4 seconds, normally the native speaker will revert back to speaking in English. Now obviously that's not what we want, okay? We want to improve our Spanish. So having some filler words to give you a bit of time to think, but also indicate to the native speaker you can speak Spanish, okay, are really, really crucial. Por ejemplo, if someone asks you, ¿Cómo estás? Or how are you? You can say, Pues estoy bien. Pues estoy bien. So notice how the simple word there, pues, well, just gives you a moment or a second or two just to think about what you're going to respond with. Otro ejemplo, pues no estoy mal. So pues no estoy mal. Another one I love using because it's longer, so it gives you even more time to think about what you're going to respond with, is es una buena pregunta. Es una buena pregunta. It's a good question. Por ejemplo, if someone asks you, ¿Qué quieres hacer? So, ¿Qué quieres hacer? What do you want to do? You could say, Es una buena pregunta. Quiero ir a la playa. Es una buena pregunta. Quiero ir a la playa. Notice how it gives you 3 or 4 seconds just to think about what you're going to say before you respond. Now the cool thing is, if we use that word we used before, pues, we can combine the two together to give you even longer to think. Por ejemplo, pues es una buena pregunta. Quiero ir de compras. Pues es una buena pregunta. Quiero ir de compras. Buen trabajo, chicos. Now, one more that I love to use is la verdad es que. So, la verdad es que. So again, it gives you a few moments to think because it's a little bit longer. Por ejemplo, if someone asks you, why do you want to learn Spanish? Or, ¿por qué quieres aprender español? ¿Por qué quieres aprender español? You could say, la verdad es que un día quiero vivir en España. Again, la verdad es que un día quiero vivir en España. And remember that simple word we used before if you want even more time to think. Pues, la verdad es que tengo muchos amigos de Argentina y quiero hablar con ellos en español. Again, pues, la verdad es que tengo muchos amigos de Argentina y quiero hablar con ellos en español. El número 2, having 1 or 2 simple, easy questions that you can revert back to off the top of your head when you first meet someone in Spanish. So this is really useful because when I first started learning Spanish, I used to just often freeze up or completely forget what I wanted to say. Of course, that's quite normal, and you do get better the more you practice. But if you just know 1 or 2 questions off the top of your head that you can blurt out, then that just helps to get the conversation flowing a lot easier. Now, some questions that I always revert back to when I first meet someone in Spanish. ¿De dónde eres? ¿De dónde eres? Where are you from? Or another useful one that I use all the time, ¿Cuánto tiempo llevas viviendo aquí? So, ¿Cuánto tiempo llevas viviendo aquí? So, how long have you been living here? Another one I use frequently, normalmente, ¿qué te gusta hacer? So, normalmente, ¿qué te gusta hacer? So normally, what do you like to do? And you're insinuating what do you like to do in your free time. But if you do want to be more specific, you can say, normalmente, ¿qué te gusta hacer en tu tiempo libre? So, ¿qué te gusta hacer en tu tiempo libre? So it's pretty simple. Think of normal questions you'd normally ask someone in English when you first meet them. So more questions. ¿Dónde vives? So ¿dónde vives? So where do you live? Another useful one. ¿Preferirías vivir aquí or en Mexico or Argentina or wherever it is that the native speaker is from? ¿Y por qué? So ¿preferirías vivir aquí or en Mexico? ¿Y por qué? So would you prefer to live here or in Mexico, and why? El número tres, speaking clearly, even if you're unsure about what you're saying or if you're unsure of the pronunciation of a particular word. So this is really important because a mistake I used to make all the time, because I was basically scared of making a mistake, was whenever I was unsure about what I was saying or if I was pronouncing a word right, what I'd normally do was I would hunch my shoulders forward, I'd drop my chin, I'd start looking down, and I'd actually lower my voice also. But when you think about it, it's actually easier for a native speaker to understand what you're trying to say if you speak clearly as opposed to lowering your voice and speaking softer. Por ejemplo, quiero comer, or quiero comer. Step number 4, dropping the pronouns. So this is something that's very easy to do, but it will make a big difference and it'll make your Spanish appear a lot more fluid as well. Now, as I said, it's easy to do, but it won't probably feel natural for a lot of you, especially if you're like myself, a native English speaker, because in English we have to use the pronouns all the time to clearly identify to everyone who we're talking about. For example, if we bring up the verb can, you can see here in the conjugations, what do you notice? Yeah, you can see there the word can doesn't actually change. So you can, I can, we can, they can, he or she can. Okay, the word can or the verb can doesn't actually change. So in English, it's very, very important that we use those pronouns so everyone knows who we're speaking about. But if we revert over to Spanish, you can see there from the conjugations, what do you notice? Yeah, so you can see all the conjugations are completely different. So, yo puedo, tú puedes, él o ella puede, nosotros podemos, ellos or ellas pueden. So you can see the conjugations are all different, so we don't actually have to say nosotros podemos, because if we just say podemos, everyone clearly knows who we're speaking about. So in Spanish, don't worry so much about using those pronouns yo or tú or nosotros. Just focus on using the conjugation because everyone will already know who you're speaking about anyway. Great job, everyone. Now, if you know any other simple tips or tricks that might help other people improve their Spanish, please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below. Apart from that, though, I will see you in the next one. Hasta pronto.